By the end of this video, hopefully I will have helped you pick out a really decent rum to drink neat. Hey Rum fam, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Steve the Barman and I'm just trying to help you on your rum journey by mainly focusing on rums, proper rums and spiced rums, but under 50 quid. So as I just said, I want to focus on sipping rums in this video under £50 because in my head we're having such great fun sort of in our sort of starter journey around the 30 the £40 mark. Why would I start focusing on sipping rums that are 60, 75, £100? To me there is no point because I haven't even explored the kind of the top end of that sort of £50 spectrum yet. Now look, in a lot of these videos I have been focusing on rums that are kind of actually between 20 and maybe £35. But this video, we're slightly going up a notch. Most of these rums will be 30 to £40. And I would put all of these in the 12-year-old category as well. So let me introduce you to the runners and riders in this video. So first off, weighing in at £33.75 on Master of Malt is Flor De Cana 12-year-old from Nicaragua. Next up, weighing in at £38.10 on Master of Malt is El Dorado 12-year-old from Guyana. Then we have Appleton 12-year-old, £40 on Master of Malt. This is from Jamaica. Then we have Jamaica's arch nemesis, a rum from Barbados. This is Dawley's 12-year-old from Foursquare. This is weighing in at £43.90. Now, for the purposes of this video, I really wanted to focus on kind of 12-year-old rums that you guys will have seen behind me for the last 6 months or so. I didn't want to acquire any more or bring any more brands to the party as yet. I want to focus on what I've got behind me, but there are other mainstream rums I could have added if I wanted to, and I'm going to take you through them. We will be focusing on these rums soon. They will be coming to this channel, but not quite in the moment. Let's get through what we've got so far. So, Dictador, 12-year-old, Colombia. I think, no research. Colombia, it's got to be Colombia. £43, could have done that. The Real McCoy, Dawley's big brother, big sister, whatever you want to call it, 12-year-old, £54. So slightly more expensive. Could have niche, kind of fit in there. We got Santiago de Cuba. We're on Santiago de Cuba, Diageo's new kind of acquisition. £47 from Master of Malt. And then we kind of get on to a kind of more expensive one. Angostura 1824. Not officially a 12-year-old rum, but loosely classed as a 12-year-old rum. That would come out at £58.33p, Master of Malt. And the final one I could find or think of is Abuelo from Panama, again at £38.50. As I say, we will be focusing on those very soon. Now for me, I don't have OCD, but I kind of like things sort of normal. I don't know what the word is for this, but I'm kind of thinking 4 is a bit of a funny number. Perhaps I should do 5 rums in this. So there is another one I've got coming out to play, but there also might be a 6th one because even now, right in this minute filming, I still haven't decided whether to get the 6th one out, and I might talk myself into it in a second. But for now, I want to bring Plantation XO to the party. Now, I'm not sure if this is the right or the wrong thing to do, to be honest. I would kind of put it class. If someone said to me, compare that to that, I would kind of put it in the same category. But rightly or wrongly, it may not kind of fit in the 12-year-old category. But price-wise, it does sort of. It's just under the £50. It's just snuck in. It's £49. But this is a kind of a blend of different aged rums, should we say. So we've got, as always with Plantation, they do tropical aging and kind of like Caribbean, or it's sort of tropical aging, and then the French barrel, the cognac barrel, are kind of aging there. So we've got 8 to 15-year-old rums, tropical aged, and then we've got 2 to 10-year-old rums in their continental aging, as in France. So rightly or wrongly, I don't know whether to compare it. I'm going to, because I can do, it's my video. But then does this mean I should be including Ron Cube, 10-year-old, in this? I think I probably will. Now price-wise, this is slightly over the £50, but I can forgive 25p on Master of Malt. It's £50 and 25 pence. I can kind of forgive that. I'm going to break, if I'm breaking the rules for that, I can forgive myself 25p on there. But as a 10-year-old, I haven't got any other rums, 10-year-old, that I can think of that is automatically springing to me here. The rest of the rums I have are kind of 8-year-old and under or higher For instance, I've got Puss's 15-year-old, which is kind of going a bit up, and then I've got Flor De Cana 18-year-old. So from what I've got in my collection and I've talked about, I think I should really kind of rock this out in this tasting. Now I'm going to do this tasting and comparison slightly different to what I've done comparison videos before, because I want to demonstrate a couple of different things for you. Because when we get to things like this, it's not about my palate, it's about your palate. So I just want to help guide you the best I can without influencing you. So at the moment, they're in price order, cheapest to most expensive. I'll run you through the prices again because I've got them written down here. Flor De Cana 12, this is Master of Malt, logged out in the UK. Flor De Cana 12-year-old, £33.75. Dorado 12-year-old, £38.10. Appleton 12-year-old, £40. Dawley's 12-year-old, £43.90. Plantation XO 49, I've got to scroll down, £49. Rum Coke 10-year-old, £50.25. Now I've rearranged the rums in dosage levels. Now, this will be roughly translated in sweetness levels. Remember, you know, although some rums can be naturally sweet, some rums are made sweeter by the addition of sugar, but it doesn't mean to say that a rum with sugar is going to be sweeter than a rum without sugar. So there's going to be a difference on your palate. But now, this is unconfirmed because not many distilleries actually publish their dosage. Some do, some don't. So this is all done on hydrometer tests, not mine. This is picked up from various reviews, taken an average. To be fair, most of them pretty much do the same thing. When they do a hydrometer test, it's gonna read the same no matter who's doing it. So to categorize these up, zero dosage. No sugar is added to any of these rums. So what these distilled and aged, that is 0 grams of sugar is added to those 4 rums there. But obviously through aging and that, and we're going to have some slight variance on sweetness levels, but 0 sugar is added. Now we get to these two. There's a thing I want to note here with El Dorado. If you've got still got the El Dorado with the red little disc there, there's a hefty chance that that is a lot sweeter than what it is now. El Dorado with the black things on have been reformulated. And again, there's no official line on this, but hydrometer tests are suggesting this has come down. I forget what it was now. My head have got 38 grams, but I think it may be a lot less than that. But it's come down now to roughly, I've seen a couple of hydrometer tests coming out at 6 grams and a couple that coming out at 8 grams. Okay, so heavily reduced. However, Plantation are very open and honest. Plantation actually tell you this has got 20 grams. Okay, 20 grams of sugar per litre. And in all honesty, in full disclosure, just before we go any further, I still haven't cracked that bottle because I've still got a tiny little bit left in that bottle. So this rum that I've got there is actually from that bottle. Now this is where we start to get slightly subjective, because now you are putting your faith in my palate. And as I say time and time again, everyone has got a completely different palate. What I taste, you might not. What you taste, I might think you're bonkers. Everyone is different on this, but I can only guide you with what I taste, okay? Now, so how I've rearranged this is now on my own personal sweetness levels for these rums. Now, Richard Seal might hate me for this. I'm really, really sorry. But my own, that's a private in-joke there. My own personal tasting, yes, for me, that is sweeter, but there's a reason why that is sweeter. Obviously, it's got the heftier dosage. But I struggle to pick a massive difference between these 5. Okay, yes, we know that's still got some dosage in it. It hasn't actually been 100% clarified whether they do actually add sugar or they don't. I just know they've stripped it right back. But what does stripping it right back mean? I don't know. Stripping it right back could mean they actually don't use any sugar, or they might still add a tiny bit. I don't know. It's not public knowledge for now. I'm just going by hydrometer tests that other reviewers have done, well-respected rum reviewers have done. I struggle to taste the difference. So it comes down to a fruitier kind of thing for me. So I do kind of loosely put them in this order. I think that is the driest, less sweet one. but we're talking minuscule amounts before we hit these four. I have put them in that order because I think the fruitiness that comes off some rums will make it feel that it's sweeter. But there is no doubt in my mind that Plantation XO is a lot sweeter. I wouldn't say, look, we're not talking spiced rum sweetness here. We're not talking out and out really, really sweet rums. You know, we are not nowhere near Diplomatico levels, Dom Papa levels, anything like that, anything remotely close to that. But it is a little bit sweeter than these rums. Now, I've just gone through this video and just realised I've not asked you a question yet. So in the comments below, before we go any further, what would be your go-to 12-year-old under £50 sipping rum? Rum that you have neat. Comment below, and then while you're down there, I would love it, please, if you could hit that like button, because that really helps me put this video in front of more of the Rum family. And speaking of Rum family, if you want to connect and chat to more Rum fans, then I would love you to come and join my membership community. Openly and honestly, there's an outer part of the Discord that is completely free of charge, but there's an inner VIP exclusive area of Discord set aside for the membership. But aside from that, you get monthly ebook cocktail ebooks. We get the Sunday night live show after party, and there is much more as well. Exclusive videos that I kind of rock out to my members as well. So if that sounds like fun, do check out the link in the description below, or there'll be a link in the pinned comment underneath this video. Well then, back to the rum tasting. The next way I've kind of rearranged these bottles is, for me, the best way I could describe this is woodiness to fruitiness. I think that would be a good way to kind of explain it to you guys. And remember, I say this is subjective. This is my palate, okay? What might be true for my palate might not be true for your palate. And there may be some people thinking, what the hell are you talking about? But this is kind of where I am. So this end for me is the most woody, oaky, peppery, spiced rum. And we come down to what I think is, and there's still a touch of kind of woody oakiness in this, but to the fruitiest kind of rum in here. And I think for me, the difference is there. I think these two for me are kind of the most whiskey-ish. That's a good way to describe them. These two are the most whiskey-ish kind of rums. So there we start to open out into lots of different fruit notes coming through, and I don't necessarily get, there is a touch of fruit in there, but I don't get them as much as these rums. So for me, going down that scale, you kind of got to find where your palate sort of sits. And we come back to that, you know, that's an absolute bargain. I think that was £34 something. You know, it's a really decent rum to get into, to sip neat. Now, I think I should give you some tasting notes for these rums. And again, as I keep saying, this will purely be down to me and my palate. But let's just go down this end, the Plantation XO. I get tropical fruits off that. Yes, there's a little bit of woody notes in there, but it is very much sort of tropical fruit led. I do also get hints of kind of toffee, caramel, vanilla coming off there. But for me, the big notes on this are the fruity notes. And to narrow those fruity notes down, I'm thinking a touch of coconut, a bit of kind of pineapple in there, but banana probably. Now moving on to the Flor De Cana 12-year-old. For me, nowhere near as fruity as the Plantation XO, but we have started to get, it's a different kind of fruitiness. We do start to get the kind of dried fruits, this sort of Christmas cake in there, without it being heavy Christmas cake, but it is a much lighter style of rum. It is a way lighter style of rum, but there is those kind of vanilla notes in there, the caramel notes, and there's a touch more kind of woody, oaky notes come through there. Not much spice, peppery kind of spice burn on there, but you do get a subtle, or more, for me personally, more woody, oaky notes than you do in the Plantation XO. Now moving up to the Appleton 12-year-old, and I know there's going to be some difference of opinion here. I really do that. But for me, and I've said this time and time again, I'm not a massive fan of those woody, oaky notes, that kind of the whiskey-ish vibes that I kind of get off some rums. And I don't get them off that, even though I know some people do. It's just weird that I don't. I do get woody oaky notes off that. For me, there's an extra level of the kind of dried fruits, the sort of raisin notes, the sultanas coming off the 12-year-old compared to the Flor De Cana 12-year-old. But you still do get that caramel, you still do get that toffee, you get this subtle sort of Jamaican, little bit of funk in there, not too much at all. So a little bit of banana notes in there. But I still, for me personally, comparing that to the Dorleys, which I know a lot of people might put the other way around, it's still not as peppery spice, sort of woody notes, alcohol, oaky notes is what I get off the Dorleys 12-year-old. And I'm not sure I mentioned it, but the one thing I do get off that is kind of reminiscent of a very nice dark, 100, well, not 100% chocolate, but you know what I mean, like a decent 70, 80% chocolate. That you kind of eat. I do get those in the aftertaste and the finish from the Appleton 12-year-old. Again, so that takes it away from being really oaky and woody for me personally. Now moving up to the Ron Cube 10. I'll be open and honest, I'm now actually contemplating, having revisited this for a couple of minutes and like letting the sort of flavours kind of wear around. I'm now actually contemplating moving that down to there. The finish, I don't get the kind of woody notes on the finish. It kind of really mellows out into lovely kind of vanilla. Again, it's that lighter sort of column still vibes. Of course, it's you know, it's Cuban rum. Column still vibes that I'm getting off the Flor De Cana. It's a much lighter. You've got a bit of fruit, but the vanilla kind of notes do kind of, on the initial taste, do kind of mask the woody oakiness. But the finish is really long on that for me. And that's where those kind of, you know, those whiskey-ish vibes do come out for me in that. But it's a tough call. They're so close, but for completely different reasons. And I can genuinely see how someone would put Cube down there in the Appleton or the Appleton up there. But I'm just going to put those side by side for completely different reasons, you know, but again, you know, it's subjective. It's hard to kind of guide you like that. But I still maintain, for me personally, these two are way up there. Like going back to the El Dorado 12, I'd love to do like the old dose or heavily dosed El Dorado versus this, because I don't seem to remember the El Dorado being that, it's a generic term, but that kind of woody, oaky kind of vibes coming through there. I seem to remember getting more kind of fruitcake vibes coming off the El Dorado, which I really don't get now. It's kind of spicy, it's kind of vanilla-y, kind of, you know, you've got those sort of toffee notes coming off there as well. But for me, how this has changed, I do get more of the sort of the dark roasted chocolate notes than I do. It's sort of evident in the Appleton, but I get it more now in the Dorleys 12-year-old. But what the finish now is for me, it's kind of like, I get kind of, it reminds me of a luxurious espresso, like that coming off there, that finishes into those wood. The aging from that, you can almost get the Port Moran sort of still coming off that, the wooden pot still that DDL has. It's where that comes out for me. So I have to put this, the new unsweetened or lightly sweetened kind of rum, way up here compared to these. And then we finish up on the Dorleys, the 12-year-old. Now I know this is Richard Seale's expertise, and the guys at Foursquare, it's their expertise, because this is the weird thing. I know this is going to cause not disagreement, should we say, but I know a lot of people will put this down here, because initially off this, I do get quite nice sort of fruity notes off this. I get typical sort of Barbadian sort of coconut vibes coming off there. I get the dried fruit, the kind of Christmas cake, Mummy Barman's Christmas cake vibes coming off there. So there is that element of fruit, but that here's a posh word, does dissipate quite quickly into that kind of oak. For me, that is the oakiest rum out of all of those, for me personally. It kind of sort of finishes off into woody, peppery spice. So even though there is that fruit up front, as a rounded kind of rum, I do have to put that as the least fruitiest of them all because of that finish. When that finishes, I still get a shed load of fruit. When the Appleton finishes, I still get quite a bit of fun fruit off there. When that finishes, all I'm getting is woody, oaky, peppery bite. Now, if you're a newbie, please don't think I'm sort of slating those, because I'm not. My palate is suited more towards that. But if you're a whiskey fan, your palate is totally going to be down that end. 100% it's going to be down this end. And do you know what? On a different day, I would probably pick out the Rum Coke as my all-star out of these. I've just something about the sort of column still, the Cuban notes of this that I absolutely adore. But sometimes when I've got that element, it's kind of like a time of the month for me. I kind of go through the sweet, fruity kind of vibes, and I'm always kind of coming down this end of the plantation. But then sometimes when I'm kind of not in that mood and I just want a rounded kind of nice sipper, I do firmly sit at a Coke. Now look, I know this is sacrilege to a lot of the rum family, but I'm not going to discount you guys that love a rum and coke and would think nothing of spending £30–40 on a rum for a rum and coke. Because let's be honest, if it's a decent rum, it's going to make a hell of a rum and coke, isn't it? Right, let's get it down. So I've now rearranged these in the order that I personally prefer these as a rum and coke. Least favourite to favourite. Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you will know that for years, discounting Spanish column style of rums, I've actually kind of sort of converted. I actually do kind of like the column still sort of vibe going on, especially because they're a lighter style of rum. Especially when it comes to that rum and coke. For instance, my all-time daiquiri, my all-time sort of rum and coke at the moment is the kind of the Ron Cube Carta Blanca and the Carta Dorado. They just smash it for me as a daiquiri. But everyone's got a different palate. They have got a different palate. So this is me, my order. Openly and honestly, these are 2 column distilled rums. And I just think because they're lighter, they just suit my palate to a T. I adore those 2 as a rum and coke. Absolutely love them. Quite happily. Are they my best after the rum and coke video that I made? Are they my favourite rum and cokes? I'm not sure, because I still do like the sort of darker black rum and cokes, if you like. But they're pretty damn decent. I'll be honest, that Rum Coke 10 and the Flor De Cana, they're pretty good rum and cokes. Now, to move down to this lot, the Plantation XO, it is good. It is good. I've just got those kind of little bit of fruitier vibes going off there. For me, hands down, that's a kind of neat sipper. I've got daiquiris down here ready to go in a minute as well. But, you know, so we'll taste them. But as lovely as that is, and that for me is more, I prefer that to those 3. It doesn't kind of touch those. And I personally wouldn't buy that for a rum and coke, personally. But it's pretty decent. These just take a little bit more work. They are more whiskey vibes, and I'm not that big into whiskey vibes when it comes to kind of rum. And they are lovely. You're going to have fans. I know it's going to have fans. Of course it is. But I'm just trying to guide you, not sway you, just guide you. I am when it comes to those mixed drinks, daiquiris, rum and cokes like Cuba Libras, that sort of stuff, gingers, that sort of stuff. I am sort of in the lighter column still kind of vibe at the moment. And I can't get away from the fact that those 2, for me, knock spots off those 2. Comment below, where would you go? I can see the conversations are going to happen. Where would you go? Would you go pot still, blended, or kind of column still in for a rum and coke below? Now I've just rearranged these in daiquiri order. Oh dear God, that's just blown me away. Now, openly and honestly, I was going to have another sip there. Calm down, Barman, calm down. Openly and honestly, when it comes to me, I nearly said it. When it comes to daiquiris, there's a few of us in my membership community where this widely renowned as moody daiquiris. Moody. I don't do moody daiquiris. I kind of like my light white rums in a daiquiri. I really do. Probably more kind of going to column still, but again, you know, the Plantation 3 stars I really love, but I kind of like that lighter white rum daiquiris. I don't necessarily do kind of heavily aged rums in daiquiris. Wow, that's good. Whether it blows Cube, the Carta Blanca, away from me, I'm not sure. Whether it blows the Plantation 3 stars, or what was the one, the Montana, Colorado rum, that was gorgeous as well. The Plantation XO as a daiquiri is stunning. It's the fruity vibes off that, mind-blowing. It's an expensive rum, but Jesus, that is a very good daiquiri rum. Next two, I love these two as well. Again, we've got that lighter column still kind of rum going on with these two. And again, I can't fault these. Flor De Cana probably just slightly over the cube, but very, very close on there. In fact, now I've tasted them again, I'm thinking the cube might be above the Flor De Cana, but very, very close. But again, it comes down to this end. And the Dorleys is nice. I just can't get my headspace into moody daiquiris. Windy in my membership kind of coined that. We've all kind of sort of taken that on. I can't get my head into the moody daiquiri space. You know, if if someone says, oh, do you want a Dorley's 12-year-old daiquiri? I potentially would go, I would turn around, you know, if you're being cheap at a party, I would say, what white rum have you got? Have you got a Havana 3-year-old at the very least? Then I would kind of go with that. I would prefer Havana 3-year-old as a daiquiri over any of those three. And that's kind of where my head is. They are good. If you love your moody daiquiris, they are good, but they're just not for me personally. Oh, give me this any day. So how do I sum this video up? Look, at the start, I said I'm not here to kind of influence you. I'm just trying to guide you, if you like. So, look, all of these, openly and honestly, when I empty a bottle, am I replenishing them? Yes. All 6 of those, all day long, I would have as permanent stocks. They offer me something different. There is not a rum there that I would not confidently tell you to go out and buy. I adore all of them. They just have very different characteristics, and I knew that coming into this video. I knew there was not going to be a winner and a loser. I just wanted to kind of guide you on on paths so you can kind of find your own way. And hopefully this video has done that for you. I adore Neat. I adore the Appleton 12-year-old as much as I adore the Plantation XO. I adore the Cube. They just offer completely different, diverse things. And I think this will be such a fascinating evening for you guys, right? If you're inviting your friends round that kind of want to get into rum, and this would loosely be a follow-up to the kind of the getting into sipping rums video that I did. You know, you sit your friends down with these 6 rums and kind of watch the journey that they go on. You're going to have different favourites. You are, yeah, in the group. You know, there is no right or wrong with this video. Absolutely stunning. If there was one rum that I say I probably wouldn't restock, do you know what? I've just probably edited out 30, 45 seconds there because I was going down a line that I thought I could answer and I can't genuinely answer it. I don't think there was one rum there that I would not buy again. I was thinking in my head possibly the Dorado 12-year-old and the Flor De Cana sort of 12-year-old. I think I could get away without them. I don't think I could. I think I need them in my collection. I need all 6 of those in my sipping rum collection. And hopefully that's where this video sits for you. So if you've loved this video, smash that like button if you haven't done already. I want to hear your feedback as well. What rums would you have as your kind of 12-year-old, 10, we have to go 10 to 12-year-old category? And I'm going to add to this with the rums that I did mention earlier in this video to kind of see how they fit in there as well. But hopefully if you enjoyed this video, if you love this video, go and check out that video because I think that will help you just as much as this did.